knee-high by the 4th of July. That's that old farmer saying. Today's July 2nd. Some of this is up to my waist already. There's some others that aren't. Yeah, there's some variation in this field, but considering what this corn's been through, it was planted May 19th, and it probably had 15 inches of rain on it since then. This is the first time I've been back in this field. Last time I was in here, I was in the sprayer, and I was chasing the planter tractor, spraying right behind him. So, hey folks, how's it going? My name's Lou. This is the Rural World. If you've been here before, thanks for stopping back. If you're new here, thanks for clicking. Basically on this channel, I grab the camera and take it with me and try to document whatever I'm working on. I could be at home on our little farm working on a project. I could be doing some excavation work for a customer, or I could be helping out one of my farmer buddies. So the last couple months, that's what I've been doing, is doing some farming. I have a couple buddies that are full-time farmers, and I help them out, especially spring and fall, and in return, I get to use some of their equipment on our farm. They help me out, I help them out, it works out real well. So, but this year, 2025, has been a crazy year. It's all about timing. And any of you out there that are farmers or no farmers, or even just follow what's been going on with the weather, it's been really crazy trying to get crops in on a timely manner. Like I said, this corn was planted May 19th, and I think we finished up corn a couple days after that, and then started in on beans. And there's still fields that we didn't get planted that we probably aren't going to plant at this point because it's so late in the year and it's due to the rain. And but before I go off on a tangent on that, this video is going to be about the process, what we do to prep fields getting ready for planting. Typically in the spring, early, usually April, sometimes end of March, depending on what's going on with the weather, we try to get in and spray the fields and do what we call a burn down with the sprayer. And that's basically taking care of any weeds before we even do anything else. And that just helps get a hold of them weeds. If you can get them when they're little, just starting to grow early spring, they're just easier to control later in the year. Sometimes you get lucky and there isn't a lot of weed pressure and you don't even need to do a burn down, but most of the time we do. And then as far as tillage equipment goes, we use a disc, a field cultivator, and then sometimes a culti-mulcher. And then we come in and plant it, and then we'll follow it again with the sprayer. So I'll try to get some footage and explain a little bit on how each piece works. We'll go from there. So right now I'm going to head to a couple other fields, soybean fields, and I'm going to show you the difference in what 1 week will do as far as timing goes and how important timing was this year. So while I'm making my way over to those fields, go ahead and enjoy this video, and then I'll check back with you here in a little bit. We'll see you. Hey, how's it going? Guess what? I'm back in a tractor. So I'm back in the Case International 7140. This is the same tractor that, if anybody watched my video from last year, I believe the title was, "What do you do with 450 million soybeans?" So that was a video about fall harvest. And this tractor here was hooked up to the grain buggy, so there was some footage of me running that around, loading up a truck and all that good stuff. So, but right now it's hooked up to a field cultivator and a rolling basket. And we're fitting up some ground for soybeans. It's been a goofy year weather-wise. We got a real nice patch of weather there in mid-April, and we got a bunch of burn down spraying done, and there was a ton of guys out planting at that point. I'm pretty sure most of them ripped all that back out of the ground because it got really cold and wet a couple weeks after that, and everybody's seed was either rotting in the ground or just wasn't doing nothing. It was just too wet, too cold. So a lot of guys replanted that. So my buddy I'm helping out here finished up his corn plant yesterday. So we got the last few acres of corn planted yesterday, got all that sprayed. So now we're on the beans, and with any luck, we'll get some beans in the ground here, and we'll get a bunch done before the next bad weather spell happens. In this part of the world, when we get rain, we usually get a ton of rain. You know, it's always nice to get a little sprinkle of rain after you plant your seed, just enough to get it going, but it seems more often than not around here we'll get a big old frog strangler and get too much rain. I mean, don't get me wrong, there's sometimes we'll get the perfect amount, but it seems like a lot of times we don't. So you get around this corner here, whip back around. There was an old well out here. I don't know if they got that filled in or what they did. I didn't see some mark on one. Definitely don't want to hit that. Alright, now we're back on the straight run for a little bit. Like I said, this is called a rolling basket. And basically what this does, it kind of organizes, if you will, the soil. It kind of tumbles along, kind of crushes up any big clumps, kind of levels it, and does a real nice job. The field cultivator in front of it, it has what they call shovels or spades, and basically it's digging down a few inches, kind of bringing up some soil. The drag on the back kind of levels it out, and then the whole process is just leaves a nice seed bed for your seed. The better chance you give your seed to grow, the better chance it has to survive. So you try to fit the ground and as good as you can. So get up here in the cab. Put you guys over here, let you get a little view of the field cultivator. You can see it. So the field cultivator brings up some soil, the drag behind it kind of levels it, then it goes back through the basket. It also has some tines as the front that act like a drag, and then the baskets, the rolling baskets, kind of organize the soil, make it look good. So There's Logan in the 7120. Doing a fine job. Pulling this culti-mulcher. So what this culti-mulcher does is each individual wheel right here basically pulverizes the soil as it's going through. If there's any big clumps, then it has these tines that kind of bring up a little bit more soil, and then the back ones finish it off, and it does a real nice job, as you can see. Super fine, broke up real nice, makes a real nice seed bed for the seed. I'm hoping I get something to eat here pretty soon. I'm getting kind of hungry. I ate about 6:30, quarter to 7 this morning. And time is, it's 1:30 now, so I could use a little bite to eat. Wouldn't mind that. I'm sure somebody will be bringing us some kind of food here eventually. Hey folks, there's been a development, and it's a good one. Lunch. Freshly made beef sandwich. My buddy's wife has her own little food truck now, so all the beef that they raise on their farm is prepared in this food truck, and let me tell you, some good stuff. Fresh cut fries, all the meat is fresh. Don't get no better. So this is the highlight of the day so far. lunch. We just got a little sprinkle here a minute ago, but it stopped, so the radar's showing storms all around us, but maybe we'll get lucky. We'll see what happens. I'm gonna enjoy my sandwich some more and keep on tractoring. You betcha. How cool is that? So we're running late with beans. It's already almost mid-June, and you can't fight Mother Nature. I've said it before, you got to try to work with her, but it's been super wet. And now it's getting hot, like it's almost 90 degrees right now, sweating like crazy. But I need to get in this CaseIH 530 quad track, and I got to move it out of the way for right now. I'm going to be back in the field cultivator, but this happens to be the biggest, strongest tractor I've ever been in and ever had the pleasure of operating. My buddy bought this thing, it's probably been 5, 6, maybe 7 years ago now, and it has a huge Cummins. I believe it's a 14.9 liter. It was rated at 535 horse from the factory, and he's pulling a sunflower disc with it, which it plays with this disc. It could handle a lot bigger disc. This is like a 31 or 32 foot disc, and this thing is a beast. Come from out west somewhere. Actually probably says probably from one of those dealers, I would imagine. But anyways, it's a beast. It's a lot of fun running it. I got to spend some time in this thing several years ago when he first got it. Maybe I'll be in it again this year, I don't know, but he's short on help, so we're kind of jumping back and forth between tractor and tractor. So I'm gonna jump in this thing right now and move it out of the way. All right. See if she'll fire up. Everything needs to turn on. I'll make sure everything's in park. See if she'll fire up. Yeah, she's a beast. She is a beast. And it's probably 150 degrees in here. Let me get some air running for a quick second. Lift this disc up. And I'm gonna move it out of the way, and then I'm gonna field cultivate this field. And you can see by looking out there, we still got a ton of moisture in the ground. Like I said, we've been getting a ton of rain. We probably got, I don't know, 2 inches of rain 2 days ago, and they're calling for another chance tomorrow. So we're hoping to get something done. So let me get this bad boy moved out of the way here. And I'm gonna run over my car, because it would do it. Alright, I'll get this thing moved out of the way and I'll be back with you. Guess what? I'm in the quad track doing some disking, and it's still bad to the bone, just like I remember it. Big old Cummins, just singing along. My buddy's over there on the field cultivator getting it done. Hoping to get all this stuff fit up here tonight. We'll probably work late tonight and then start early in the morning. They're talking more rain coming by tomorrow night, so we'll see. We can only do what we can do. Got a bunch of telephone poles I got to deal with here. They're always a pain in the butt along the road here, but we'll get it. Always helps to disc everything on an angle, and that helps to smooth out any ruts that were left over from last year. We were gonna no-till some of these fields, but we're getting some mare's tail, which is a weed that is very tough to kill, especially once you plant. There's not a lot of chemical that you can spray that'll kill the mare's tail weed and not hurt the bean. So we're tilling it up, and then we'll hit it with our regular products that we spray pre-emerge. Basically, we're spraying right after we plant, and they usually do a good job of controlling the rest of the weeds. So the biggest tractor I've ever run. It's a beast. It's an articulating quad track, so it turns pretty sharp, and it's got all kinds of traction. You got these 4 big tracks. You can see them running back there, and it does really good. So I like running it. It's fun. Well, hey, I'm gonna get off of here and keep at it. We're gonna be working late tonight, and I'll check back in with you folks probably tomorrow, because this GoPro doesn't like the darkness. So you betcha. Take care. I hope you liked that video. Like I said, I tried to give a little overview of how we prep things and get things ready for planting as far as tillage goes and the different equipment we use. I have tons of footage. I could put a video that was several hours long of just tractor work, but not sure if anybody wants to watch that. I would watch it. I'm sure there's some people crazy out there like me that would, but these beans were planted June 7th. And it was before we got all the super heavy rain. A week later is when we got all the heavy rain. So like I said earlier, timing makes a huge difference. These beans had a chance to get up out of the ground, establish those roots that they need, and they look really good. A nice even stand. And like I said about the corn earlier, for what they've been through, they're gonna do all right. I actually stopped in this field probably, I know it was less than a week. It was probably 3 or 4 days after we had planted it, and I stopped and dug a few up. I'll try to put some of that footage in here, but here's one. Let's see what it's looking like. Oh yeah, we got a little tail started on that guy, so that means the moisture is just right in the ground. Perfect. Looks good. They were already had a good taproot established, which is what a bean does. They put out a long root, and what happens, the actual soybean, how they differ for corn, not to go off on a tangent on that, but a corn seed, actually the seed stays in the ground, establishes a root, and then it shoots the rest of the plant straight up and out. Soybean puts a root down, and actually the seed itself has to emerge and actually stand up out of the ground. So if the ground's hard like concrete, it could break off, not come out at all. So corn's almost like a little needle that kind of shoots itself right out of the ground. So that's a huge difference between corn and beans. So seed bed is super important with both, but probably even a little bit more with soybeans. But anyways, these look really good, and I'll take you to the next one. Man, I can't wait to tell all my farmer buddies about this. My brand new crystal ball. So now I'll know exactly when all these bad storms are going to be coming. So next year, I'm going to look at this, and it'll tell us. So we'll be able to plan for our planting, and we'll know exactly when to plant. It's going to be great. But for some reason, it's giving me some weird messages right now. I don't understand it. I bought it off a guy at the gas station, and he seemed like a super trustworthy guy. He had a lot of nice jewelry in his trunk too. It was very expensive, but I'm sure it'll be fine. I'll give him a call and we'll figure out what's going on. But so far, it's not really telling me anything good, so I'm sure it's okay. But hey, you guys want to go see my field? I'll show you all the beans that are coming up. There's actually some that are holding on, so I guess it's not a total loss. We'll go take a look and see. So we're back in my field now. It is now July 3rd. I tried to finished this up last night, but the camera kept overheating. It was like in the 90s yesterday and super humid. It's still pretty humid right now, but it's a little bit better. But as far as that crystal ball goes, I'll get that thing figured out. I'm sure it's fine. I even bought the extended warranty, so it'll be good. But in all seriousness, I just wanted to show everybody. I was talking about timing earlier, and so this field was planted 6 days after that last one I showed you. This was planted July 13th, which ironically, it was also Friday the 13th. So is that why all this happened? I kind of doubt it, because this is like the third time this has happened to us, where we get done planting and then we get huge rainstorms. I remember one year I wasn't even out of the field yet with the sprayer, and we probably got 4 or 5 inches of rain, and the same thing, we got washed out. But that's farming. But this whole area right here that you see, all this soil right in here that's washed down in here, that should be way over there, a couple 100 yards that way. Some of it also came from there, but there's probably a couple, 2-3 dump truck loads here that got washed down, and it's not supposed to be here. So what happens with that, a lot of the seed gets covered and it won't come up through that. Some of it rots in the ground because the moisture seals it up, but this is almost like a beach here. This is like all sand right here, so pretty crazy. There's a couple inches of soil that got moved down through here. Definitely was heavy rain. It probably wasn't 4 or 5 hours after we finished. I was chasing the planter, I was in the sprayer, and I finished spraying this field, and then I went up the road and did another one, and got back to the farm at my buddy's place, and we were looking at the weather. It wasn't even calling for this. Obviously, if it would have been calling for this type of storms, we would have never planted. It was just saying, you know, there was a chance of rain here and there, and we were actually talking, we're like, all right, we'll get an early start. It was a Friday, so we'll get an early start Saturday morning, and we'll keep going, because there's still a couple 100 acres of my buddies that we didn't even get planted. Don't even know if we're going to at this point. But so I left, got home. It was probably 1 or 2 in the morning. I woke up and I could hear it raining, and it just never stopped, and we ended up getting almost 5 inches of rain. So as you can see, this is the result of that. Some of the seed got washed away, some of it rotted in the ground, you know, and we're almost 3 weeks later. But I just wanted to show you the difference in some timing. This is a good representative. I'll lay that stick there, and you can see there's several inches of soil that has washed away because of all that water. There's an old bearing race right there out of a disc or something. And that's the other thing that changed too. Originally I was going to no-till this field, and we were going to no-till a couple other ones. And the day before we planted this, we did a couple test runs in another field to see if the no-till was going to work, and it was doing okay, but we decided ultimately we'll go ahead and till it up, which we never would have done. It would probably be in a lot better shape, because I looked at some no-till fields that were planted just a couple days before this one, and they actually look pretty good. And what happens with this, when you till a field, you loosen up all that soil. So when the water starts rolling through here as fast as it did, you get this, and you can almost see, you can see some planter marks, and then you can also see where the disc was. But these lines right here are where the planter went down. So any soil that was loose on top from tilling it washed away that night, and then we ended up getting rain for almost 2 weeks straight. There's a couple still popping up, believe it or not. Like, you can see the cracks in the ground, and that's the other thing that happens when you get that much water that quick. and then it comes, and then it dries up. So like this one here is trying to get out of the ground. I help it a little bit. As it's trying to get out, it gets stuck. So you can see how much that one was actually growing underground. And that's the thing with a bean. Like I was explaining earlier, it needs to stand up. The actual bean itself comes out of the ground and then stands up, where a corn is a grass and it actually just shoots right up. But there's another one that's trying to stand up, and it's stuck. I'll help you out, buddy. There you go. So here's one that popped up. Pretty strong one, actually broke up out of the soil. Here's one that's popping up right now. Come on, buddy, you can do it. There you go. Come on up. So yeah, there's going to be a lot of that. Some of them will actually break off as they're trying to stand up, and that's no good. But there's a lot of money sitting out here in seed, fertilizer, diesel fuel, chemical, time. It's a pretty cool sunset. You can just see it peeking up over the hill way out there. Pretty neat. But just to be clear, I'm not complaining or whining. I know there's a lot of people that are struggling out there, that they have way more important things to worry about and be concerned about than some seed rotting in the ground and some crops not doing too good. I think the biggest thing is, it's just like anything, any project you're working on, whether you're farming or doing construction or whatever your passion is in life or your job, when you're doing something and it gets taken away real quick, whether that's by a force of nature or something out of your control, it just kind of hits you. You put in all this time and effort into something, and this happens. We can't control it. Like I always say, you can't fight Mother Nature. You can try to work with her and do the best you can to try to get along with her. That's all you can do. But how about that quad track, huh? That thing's pretty cool. I'll tell you what, it's definitely fun running. 535 horsepower, come on. That's definitely a cool machine. So, but hey, if you like this video, please consider subscribing to my channel. I'd appreciate that. Plus it's free. Give me a thumbs up, leave a comment, let me know if you like seeing this type of stuff. I really enjoy making it. And until next time, take care. Today's July 3rd, tomorrow's 4th of July, so happy 4th of July, everybody. I hope you have a great weekend, and we'll catch you on the next one. Take care. That's a tire popper. You betcha. Put that over there with the other tire poppers. Almost made it, huh? Speaking of tires, there's one right there. It's a good spot for that. We'll pick that up later, Gunner. Remind me to pick that up.